Alright, YouTube. Welcome. I know I've been silent on this subject for a while now, so I guess it's time that I weigh in. So, we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and there's a lot to talk about. So, I decided that I'm going to split this subject into three parts, three videos. The first part is going to be before the release of the Snyder Cut. The second video is going to be actually reviewing the Snyder Cut. The third video will be the aftermath of the releasing of the Snyder Cut. Let's get to this, man, because like I said, I've been silent on this subject long enough, and I done heard a lot of people talk and express their thoughts and opinions. So now it's my turn to speak on the issue. When Justice League came out at the theaters, I went to see it. In fact, I went to see it about 4 or 5 times, and I enjoyed it. You know why? Because when I watched the movie on the screen, I didn't see Justice League. I saw Super Friends. I grew up with the Super Friends. That's one of the reasons why I wasn't bent out of shape on what we got, because I just wanted to see the 4 cosmic legends of the universe on the big screen, which was a dream of mine for a long time. I just wanted to see Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Aquaman, all 4 of them together. Not no effing trinity that they came up with, which one of these days I'm going to discuss why they did that. But I'm talking about the 4 cosmic legends of the universe. And I'm pissed off at the fact that DC allowed Aquaman, who was at one point in time more popular than Batman and Wonder Woman, who was the second DC character to even get on television with his own cartoon following Superman. Hell, he had 2 shows. But Aquaman was very popular at the time. I don't know why I just spin off on Aquaman. That's my boy. Because I'm going to tell you, man, because he did everything before Black Panther was fighting with his cousin or whatever. Aquaman had already had his back and forth with his brother before any other superhero was even married. Aquaman already done that. He was married, had a family, had issues with he had all that. He did all those things that, like they had a big story like Spider-Man, he's getting married, Superman, he's getting married, Batman's about to get married. Aquaman already done that. He was the first to do all these things. And his world underwater was so, massive. There was so much that he could do. And that was one of the reasons why he was a very popular character coming into the 70s, into the 80s, when for some reason they started to taper him off. So I was just always glad to see him on the big screen. Okay, so that's my Aquaman rant. So now let's get to the rest of it. Getting back to it, no, I didn't really have that big of a problem with Joss Whedon and Justice League at the time. When it first came out, I didn't have a problem with it. But I did know that there was some things missing. I did know that Josh had some, didn't get a lot of the stuff that he wanted in there. I just knew that there was some stuff missing. When time went on, and Zack started to let people know that, hey man, this is not the movie that I shot. So I was like, and I was like, I was really hoping that maybe someday we get to see it. Kind of like what they did with the old Superman movies. How you had, I think it was it Superman 2? Where they had 2 cuts. And like years later, they put out the cut that the other director had before he got removed, or however the story goes. So I'm thinking, maybe down the road, maybe years and years and years from now, we'll probably see it. But so yeah, I was wanting to see it, hoping to see it, but I wasn't campaigning for it. I wasn't out there writing letters and doing billboards, and I wouldn't like release the Snyder cut and all this other stuff. I wasn't part of the movement, even though I was hoping that the movement would actually work. But I wasn't part of the movement. During the time, though, when this movement started, this cult, as people want to call it, unlike other things in the world, isn't a cult. Like the Snyder movement is like the first cult of all time. I started to, because I'm all over YouTube, and I noticed that there were people, individuals, even some groups who were really going in on people who wanted to release the Snyder cut. They give them the name of cults. They call them weirdos. They just came up with all kinds of crazy names. You had one guy saying, "Oh, you're never gonna see the Snyder cut because it doesn't exist. It's a unicorn." I'm not gonna say no name. I'm pretty sure y'all, if y'all keep up with the different talking heads, I think y'all know who I'm talking about. You had other people who said that it didn't exist. You had what's his name, Cappy, if I'm saying his name properly, saying that Zack needs to cut the BS, because there's no Snyder cut. Is all a fantasy. Is all a lie. It didn't exist. No matter how hard Zack tried to prove that, hey, I had a whole different cut, and all I need to do is just finish it, because it's done. I just need to finish it. And, you had people who was determined to silence the people who wanted to release it. I don't know how people don't have conductive reasoning, because I'm looking at it like this: either you really didn't know, or you was lying. And it's hard for me to figure how you really didn't know if you're supposed to be a talking head on YouTube, and you're supposed to be getting all the scoops and getting all this and putting out all the information and doing all this, for you to say that it didn't exist, when not only did you have the director saying this and showing you proof, not only did you have that, but you had the actors saying this stuff. Okay, you had the people who was actually in it. See, people got upset when I can't remember her real name, but Martha Kent in Man of Steel, Justice League, Batman v Superman. When she was in an interview and they asked her was Justice League going to be better than the Avengers, and she straight out said no. That was a clue telling people that this version of Justice League is not going to be good. But the movie that she helped was involved in, that Zack did, that's why she said it wasn't going to be a good movie, because she knew that one never going to be released. So there you go. So I'm like, man, this is whew. And then like all this stuff going on, and you still have people downing on it. And I thought that was just, I don't know. I mean, why would you do that to people? I mean, if people wanted to see it, people wanted to see it. Hell, I wanted to see it. I just wasn't out there. But that didn't mean that I didn't want to see it. That didn't mean I didn't smile every time somebody said release the Snyder cut, or when Memora or some of the others actually talked about it. It brought a smile to my face. I said, wow, I wish I could see it someday. That was just my mindset. And it had nothing to do with all these other different arguments and talking point of why do it. I just wanted to see it. And my son wanted to see it. And as you can see, a lot of other people wanted to see it. So I just didn't understand the hatred. I didn't understand why people basically just didn't want it to happen. I just didn't understand it. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, then come the streaming wars. AT&T buys up Warner Brothers. And I'm like, okay. And then Zack reveals that there will be a release of his cut on HBO Max. Because you know what? I'll tell you what. I've been on the fence. I was on the fence about whether or not I should get HBO Max. I know I'm not. I know I wasn't getting Disney. So me personally, man, I was on the fence when it comes to the streaming service that was out there. I mean, yeah, I was like, yeah, HBO. I mean, yeah, you got DC content, so you know I'll be wanting to see that. So I will probably eventually get it. But it wasn't until they announced the Snyder Cut being released. They said, yeah, it's going to be released on HBO Max. That's when I said, you know what? I'm getting HBO Max on the first day. The first day that is, you know, it launches, I'm getting it. And I did. I got it the first day. And to show loyalty to the company, because you giving me something that I've been wanting to see, Snyder Cut, I said, not only I'm going to pay for this on the day of his launch, I'm going to stay on it. And, you know, I'm glad I did, because there's a lot of great stuff on HBO Max that I really enjoyed. But the main reason for me being on HBO Max was the Snyder Cut. That was the main number one reason that I was waiting on, is the Snyder Cut. But I got some other great things out of it too. Lovecraft Country, Raised by Wolves. I'm still waiting on if we're gonna get, you know, second seasons on those. His Dark Material, that was a good show. Search Party was amazingly entertaining. And there's some other stuff on there, shows on there too as well that I enjoyed. And some movies that I hadn't seen in a long time. Some movies I never saw and I got a chance to see. Some movies I never even heard of and got to see. So yeah, I enjoyed HBO Max, but the main reason why I was there was to get the Snyder Cut. That's point blank. For me to spend $15 a month. And I said, you know, to me, hey, I'll do it. And like I said, eventually I would have, because I wanted to see new DC content, but they didn't have any new DC content, you know, out. I mean, because other than, you know, they announced the second season of Doom Patrol, that wasn't going to be enough for me to just, you know, sign up for it. You had to give me a little bit more. And they gave me basically what I mainly wanted, and that's the Snyder Cut. My biggest headache, not headache, but my biggest, what I don't get was how all the people, with the exception of maybe one or two, instead of saying, wow, I was wrong that there's a Snyder Cut. It's like they went from it didn't exist or it was never going to be released to, oh, you shouldn't give the fans what they wanted. Okay, so you're telling me as a grown person that you don't believe that the people who is paying for something shouldn't get what they want. So you telling me if you go to McDonald's and they tell you they don't make certain things that you want anymore, but they'll give you something that you don't want and you can pay for that, and then you talking about at the same price, and you okay with that? Okay. If you okay with that, if you okay with paying for something that you don't want, you know, that's fine. But I'm not okay with that. You either gonna give me what I want, or I'm gonna take my money somewhere else. That's just how it works. You know why? Because there's this thing called competition. See, competition works, okay, for those who get it. Because if one company is giving people what they want and another company isn't, hey, you take your money to where you get what you want. Now, if you want to be one of those who will just pay for anything, hey, that's you. That ain't me. And that's not the majority of people, you know, that's walking the earth. People like to get what they paid for. You understand? Now, and I know that a lot of the talking heads on YouTube understand that. So for some reason they have some kind of other hidden agenda of something of giving fans what they want. I mean, even governments understand that. You give the people what they want, and you won't have so many problems. You know, and they might throw this in and say you will take this, but every now and then you gotta, how you say, you gotta give a dog a bone, and governments understand it. So I don't understand why talking heads on YouTube don't understand it. I don't understand why these different outlets that write these articles don't understand it. I don't understand why Hollywood don't understand it. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do understand it, but they trying to present a narrative here for a certain reason. See what I'm saying? Because you always got to look between the hedges, between the lines. Because just because a person says something doesn't 100% mean that that person believes what he's saying. He could just be trying to manipulate people to get others to believe what he's saying, even though he may not believe it. Because, I mean, if y'all know anything about these politicians, most of these politicians don't believe half the stuff that come out of their mouths. But they know that there's other people that do. And so they say these things to manipulate or how you say, get their vote. Because when you go down the line, you'll find out that most conservatives, politicians, aren't as conservative as they say. And then when you go down the line, you find out that a lot of liberal politicians aren't as liberal as they say. So that's why you always have to read between the line and read between the hedges, and do a little research and a little background where where you putting your faith in. You understand? I don't, like I said, it's just the way life is. But as for me, I was happy that I was going to get something that I wanted, and I was willing to pay for it. And as you can see, a lot of other people was willing to pay for it. So what's the harm in that? And I'm asking the talking heads who talked against it, and I'm not naming no names, but I'm just asking them, what's the harm in giving you what you want? What's the harm of me getting what I want? I'm not hurting you. I didn't call you no name. I didn't attack you. I didn't write you no letters. I didn't say anything to you. You continue to say that these fans was attacking you and doing all this other stuff, but yet you ain't showing no proof. I ain't seen no proof. The only people that I saw was doing the attacking was the talking heads on YouTube. I don't remember hearing anyone call those who didn't want the Snyder Cut weirdo, and they use the word toxic. And when you use that word, that tells me there's a hidden agenda somewhere that's coming from you. Everybody's not gonna like what you like, and everybody's not gonna hate what you hate. Some people's gonna like the other stuff, and some people are gonna want to see it or hear it. You see what I'm saying? So instead of you being so divisive, and I know a lot of y'all probably do it for the clicks. As you can see, I don't have a lot of clicks on my videos, because I do it because I love doing what I'm doing. It's just me, and I really appreciate those that do watch. A lot of y'all do it, and like I said, you gotta read between the lines. Some of y'all do it just for clicks. You talk bad about something, people gonna click on, and even the ones who hate you, they're gonna click on just to hear what you say so bad about whatever it is you don't like, or vice versa. Somebody will click on and hear you talk about something good that they love. You see what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of the talking heads do it. Many of them probably don't care about the Snyder Cut one way or the other. They either like it or they don't. Some of them probably wanted to see it too, but they knew that they can get the clicks. That's just my take on the things that happened before the release of the movie. And I think I ranted enough. So I'm going to end this one. This part 2 will be me actually talking about the Snyder Cut itself, the actual movie itself. Until then, you have a good one, and stay safe. It's still dangerous out there. Stay safe.